The Khyber Pakhtunkhwa prosecution is now more citizen-centric than ever before. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa prosecution has started new culture of public participation in shape of Kuli Katcheries in the pilot districts that is Swat, Mansehra, Bannu, Nowshera and Khyber with the purposes to resolve the citizen problems regarding their criminal cases and aware them about the importance of prosecution. In this regard, a ceremony of launching report was held at Islamabad with the aims to improve access to justice through strengthening of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Prosecution Service. In the occasion, Director Monitoring KP Prosecution Mr. Atiq Ur Rehman highlighted the Citizen Centric Prosecution with very befitting manners.
This is a wonderful afternoon and a pride moment for a KP province and especially for a KP prosecution that today we are assembling to celebrate the launch report on the Citizen Centric Prosecution. So it's a great moment for a KP prosecution and I congratulate all the prosecution team, the Masawi, the USIP for taking a so innovative initiative. This is the first ever public consultation sessions in a justice system sector. It was happened only in the district administration when the DC used to conduct a Kuli Katcheries, but it is the first time that the prosecution is going to conduct such sessions for a public. So it's a great moment for all of us. Initially, this consultation session was started in 5 pilot districts. We selected the 5 districts where our conviction rate is comparatively high. But when we start interaction with the public and conducted survey in these districts, it was a big surprise for us that the public satisfaction level was very low. Despite of a high conviction and the satisfaction level of the public low means that there is a huge gap. There is something. We started thinking that why it's so. So at the end of a survey and end of report, we come to know and also highlighted, list down some points, the basic points of the low satisfaction over the high conviction. The first thing which we noticed, that is about the awareness. The KP prosecution represent the state and defend the public right during a criminal litigation, irrespective of the fact whether he is a complainant, accused, victim, or a witness. If there is a case, the prosecution will recommend. If there is no case, the prosecution will straight away drop the case. The prosecution have their own role, but unfortunately, the general public doesn't aware about the roles, duties of the prosecution. Even they doesn't know about the achievement of a KP prosecution. It is a big opportunity for us to highlight that the KP prosecution has prosecuted international fame cases. We have prosecuted Malala Yousafzai case. We have prosecuted Mashar murder case. We have prosecuted the trial of Sufi Muhammad, Jose Noor case. Recently, we have prosecuted a Dasu murder case where the Chinese were under attack and we secured a death sentences. But unfortunately, these cases were not highlighted in the media. It has not got a same projection which is supposed to be. It is the international fame case, and it is prosecuted solely by a KP prosecution. There was no private counsel. It was prosecuted by the prosecution team, by KP prosecution. But still, the fame of Malala is so high and the KP prosecution is still very low. I also would like to highlight that in last year, the KP prosecution has secured 38 death sentences in cases, more than 3 in a month. More than 200 cases, we secure a life imprisonment. And I'm going a big statement that the KP prosecution have a 76% overall conviction in the court of a magistrate, session, and ATC. But unfortunately, these are not highlighted. And we are also condemned that the conviction rate of a prosecution is very low. This is another debate that there is a different formula of a percentage calculation, that how they calculate the percentage of a conviction, that is the other thing. But overall, the KP prosecution conviction rate is 76. But even that is not known to everyone. It needs to be highlighted. Similarly, this is the Supreme Court data. That data is compiled by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, in which the KP prosecution has submitted 92% challan to the court. We don't have a backlog. If we compare with the Punjab, they have submitted a 20%, Sindh 53, Balochistan 53. In this scenario, the KP prosecution is also ahead. But even then it is not highlighted. For the reason, there is some other reason as well that why it is not highlighted in the same fashion, but this is the actual data which is compiled by the Supreme Court of Pakistan. The another key finding and the assessment which we have noted, that is the feedback. The KP prosecution basic right and a basic duty is to defend a public interest in criminal litigations. Unfortunately, when we gauge the performance of a prosecutor, that is purely on a number of a conviction, acquittal and appeal. A pure quantitative assessment. Now, if I am going to defend the case of a public, why I should not ask from him about the performance of a prosecutor, whether he is happy with the performance of a prosecutor? So there should be a yardstick. So with the help of a Masawi, with the help of a USIP, we establish our own media cell. It is exclusive media cell of a prosecution where we highlight the role of prosecution, upload the successful story, and then wait for the feedback of the journal masses and the general public. Pakistan Citizen Portal, which we receive only 153 complaints and 152 is resolved. The satisfaction level of a citizen is only 42, but it is a mix complaints. Some is administrative in nature and some is purely prosecutorial against the prosecutorial decisions. Another thing which we have noticed that there is a communication gap. In 80% cases, the complainant hired their own private counsels in criminal cases. It may be anything. The reason may be a culture, the reason may be a capacity issue of a prosecution, the reason may be awareness. The people doesn't know about the prosecution. Free prosecution is there to assess them on free of cost, but even then they hire their own private counsels. So 80% cases, in the criminal cases, they hire their private counsels. So there is a huge gap, communication gap between the prosecution and the general public. That is the figure and the data of the citizen consultation session which we have conducted in 5 pilot districts. Total complaint which we received, that is 93, resolved on the spot, that is 54, and later on resolved 39, and satisfaction level reached to 60%. The good thing of this event is that the people have welcomed the same. They attended the session, they lodged their complaints, and it is a good thing on the part of prosecution and other stakeholders as well, that they have listened very patiently and also resolved with a very wholeheartedly. Sole KPI of the entire event, restoration of a public confidence. As I have said that in 80%, if a complainant hire their own counsel despite of a presence of a prosecution, so that is a very big question. In order to restore a public confidence, we have taken this innovative initiation, and that is worked really well. The people attended the sessions and they openly registered their complaints. That is the KPI and that is the main thing as well. The composition of the event is the regional director prosecution, district prosecutor, police, the investigation staff of the police used to attend this session, monitoring and IT officer from directorate, representative of Masawi, local people, lawyers and media representatives. These are the composition of this consultation session, or we call it Kuli Katcheries. This is the statistic first ever consultation held at Swat, where we received 27 complaints and resolved on the spot 15, and later on which was dropped, that is 12. That is the situation of Mansehra, Bannu, Nowshera Khyber. The good thing about the Khyber is that it was a merged area, but the people welcome us, and they have also enumerated all those complaints, even though it is not related to the prosecution, but there was a huge gathering in district Khyber. Way forward, there is a lot of things. The Barrister Umar Saab will also highlight the key points, but the way forward which prosecution suggested, or KP prosecution said, extension of a Kuli Katcheries to the remaining districts. That request was also put before the Masawi and USIP as well, that if we can extend this exercise to the rest of a district, so I'm sure the communication gap between the people and a prosecution will be covered to great extent. Similarly, the joint Kuli Katcheries police and prosecution is a correlative things. There are so many complaints we receive which exclusively pertain to the police. So the permanent presence of a police is required in such like a session, so in order to facilitate the public in a greater extent. Logical support for media cell is required. We have a media cell in prosecution department, and it required a logistic support to fully function. And the last is Citizen Prosecution Complaint Portal. The USIP work with the police. I think there is a very good partnership, police awam saath saath. So if there is any portion for this, that the police Citizen Prosecution Complaint Portal, if we can create it, so that would be a very good to systematically analysis all the complaints which we receive from the complaint. So that would be a great step towards the resolving the issue of citizens. Thank you so much for the patience.